Death and Decay is a signature spell of both the Death Knights of Warcraft II and the Liches of Warcraft III. In those games, the spell lived up to its lore and destroyed everything in its radius, people, buildings, and terrain. When Death Knights were first added to WoW, they had a handful of overpowered abilities that would be later toned down. Death and Decay was one of these overpowered moves, slowly tweaked down over time to be a little less ridiculous. In its first form, D&D had a chance to make you cower in fear for 2 seconds each time it did damage. Now, a cower in fear is not the same as a fear. Cower is basically the same as a stun, so once Decay threw a D&D down on you, you did your best to get out of it. But that wasn't always possible, seeing as they had things like Death Grip and Old School Chains of Ice, which was basically a spammable root that wasn't technically a root. Now, seeing as its effect was just a tiny bit overpowered, they decided to remove the fear effect and add it to a glyph. Then, after a while, they realized that adding it to a glyph was still pretty OP, so they changed the glyph to increase its damage by 20% instead of the random cower effect. In Cataclysm, the spell was changed to only cost 1 unholy rune, down from 1 of each, and the glyph was changed to increase the spell's duration to 15 seconds from 10 seconds, and its 30-second cooldown has always been pretty constant. In Mist, the spell was left relatively unchanged, and the glyph was changed to slow targets in its area of effect. It's mostly used for AoE DPS, and for Unholy, this AoE spell is part of their single target rotation. The spell's original intent was to be used to help with threat while tanking back when all 3 specs could tank.